It is 2 o'clock, so I am going to get started. We hope to have a great discussion with everyone today. My name is Neela Molgard. I lead our Office of Small Business and Innovation here at DEED. Um, the slide that you see here is, I just want to thank our partners. We do everything in partnership. And so we thank the U.S. Small Business Administration. We thank Grow Minnesota and Minnesota Chamber, and of course, our partners here at DEED, SBDC, for helping host these meetings. As I mentioned, we are hosting this through our Office of Small Business and Innovation. Our mission is to help our entrepreneurs, our startups, and our small businesses start and scale. And we do that all in partnership with partners all across the state. Today, we are very fortunate to have Adam Hansen join us from the Office of Secretary of State. He has been a very strong partner of our office. I am grateful for his partnership, his collaboration on numerous projects. One is we work together to update the 5 steps to starting a business. We're working on better promotion and communication with our businesses jointly. And so I am sure you will enjoy hearing from him and learning from his wisdom. He's going to provide you an overview of their office and then also spend a little bit more time talking about the new business identity recovery. And please ask questions. There'll be time for dialogue on his presentation, or if you have questions for others on this call. Once again, this call is for you, our small business owners, and those that support our businesses to get the answers that you need, or to find out who you should be speaking to and make those important connections for you. So Adam, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'll stop sharing my screen. And if you have slides, you're free to share them now.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks everybody. I was joking before the call that it's going to take me a second here because I'm so used to using Microsoft Teams and never thought this would become my reality. But I'm going to share something here as soon as I can find it, and then we will get started. Here we go. Nice. All right. Everybody see the slides? Are we good? Everyone can hear me? Great. So hi, my name is Adam Hansen. I'm the Director of Business Services over here at the Office of the Secretary of State. I wanted to shout out a couple people that I do see in the chat. I have in the chat right now, Millie Cardinal. Millie is a business analyst for our office. We're going to be talking about our business recovery program that's starting on January 1st. She's our point person for that, boots on the ground, basically running it for us. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Also on the call is Josie Bell-Richard. She's our communications and outreach person. And I do see, I see a couple other people. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them in or save them for the end, whatever works. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our office, but I'm also going to talk about a very, very exciting program that we have starting on January 1st for business identity recovery to help fight business fraud. This is something that has been a long time coming, and I'm very proud of the bill that we got through the legislature. And I hope people are excited to hear about it. So let me get started. So here at the Minnesota Secretary of State, we do lots of things, not just business filings. We also administer elections. We file businesses, process notary applications, and more. As people probably know on this call, you interact with us hopefully yearly when you're doing your renewal. If you're not, make sure you are. It's fast, it's easy, and it's free for most people. But we're going to mostly focus on business services. We also do official records. So if the governor has official decree, we're the office that holds that. We also hold the official state seal. Boards and commissions, we manage study abroad, but then what we're going to talk about is business services. Business services has a couple different aspects. The part that most people are probably familiar with are filing businesses. If you have a small business, you registered with us, I guarantee it. If you didn't, oh boy. But you've probably interacted with us that way. We also commission notaries. We administer UCC filings and apostille authentications. Most people have never heard of an apostille until they need it. It's a way to authenticate a public document for use overseas. So a lot of high school records, birth records, death records getting sent overseas. So people who receive them know that the document is accurate. That's actually a large portion of what we do. And it's great. But I'd like to talk to you about a problem. And it's a problem that's been happening in this state. We don't record ownership. Most people are kind of shocked by that. As far as the state goes, nobody knows who owns a business, right? There was the Corporate Transparency Act that has been kind of put on hold federally. That was a big deal because it was the first time that there was going to be a governmental database of ownership. So we don't maintain records of ownership, which leads to the question is, how do we know who can file on a business, right? We estimate 93% of the businesses in our state are small businesses. And that's you know somewhere between 1 and 5 people. And for that case, it's easy to know one person's probably running the business, they're probably the owner. But statutorily, we can't control who can file on a business. Now, if you file on a business that isn't yours, you're committing perjury. It's a crime. I could go and file something on Target if I wanted to right now. I would get sued to oblivion. But it is possible statutorily. And this is not a Minnesota thing. This is a national thing. Offices like ours have traditionally been considered ministerial, where we hold records. I always say that we don't take actions here at the Secretary of State. It's other banks, agencies, businesses that take actions with the records that we hold. But we don't really do anything with records other than maintain them and have a database. So what happens if somebody files on a business that isn't theirs? Well, that is a crime. Sometimes these are fly-by-night operations, could be people doing it overseas, could be a lot of different things. Sometimes it's even 2 partners arguing over who gets to control a business, or an ex-partner or something, right? So the problem is that sometimes this happens, or somebody has a business filed in their name. They're like, I've never heard of this. Fraudulent business filings are an issue in every single state. Criminals take advantage of our frictionless filing systems to impersonate or hijack businesses. And what we mean by frictionless filing systems is, if you need to renew your business, it's very easy. The frictionlessness is that a lot of things that you do with the state don't need human eyes on it. So filing a renewal, filing a new business. But because of that, like I said, criminals will take advantage of this and change records and try to take out bank loans or get cell phones or any number of things. And like I said, Minnesota's not alone in this problem, but we decided to act and make it a state solution. The things that we've always heard, this business isn't mine, I've never seen it before. Someone listed my home address without permission. My long dormant business was reactivated behind my back. I'm getting bills or collection calls for things that I didn't authorize, right? And we get these calls, we've been getting them for a long time. And statutorily, there's nothing we can do because we don't know who can file in a business. So people would have to end up going to local law enforcement. You would have to go to court or pay to amend the records yourselves. And there was no clear path forward. It was dependent on the desire of their local law enforcement to act. And I would wish I could say that was always an easy process for people, but most often it wasn't. People are busy, and sometimes these crimes are so low stakes that they get pushed aside, and people are feeling, very, very victimized. It's hard for my staff to take these calls. I've taken them, and it's heartbreaking. We don't have concrete numbers on how many fraud complaints we would have if everyone called, because most people don't actually, I'm blocking words still. Most people wouldn't call us. They would just kind of ignore it or fix it themselves or something like that. When a victim has this happen currently, it could take months or longer to unwind the damage, fix their filings, to be in communication with these companies in order to set the record straight, right? Fraudsters would also use dormant entities to apply for credit or impersonate legitimate businesses. It's a scam, nationwide scam. It's often called a shelf company scam. I had a guy who reactivated an engineering company from 30 years ago and changed it to a limousine company. And sometimes these people are acting because they received bad advice, and that's a whole other conversation, but most often it's fraud. So we worked very hard and we got a law passed this past session, even though we're coming up on the new legislative session, but it passed with pretty wide bipartisan support. Very, very successful. A lot of positive feedback that we received. This law is going to create a formal process for handling these fraudulent business filings. And this entire complaint process is administered by our office alone, not routed through external agencies. We took a similar bill that Colorado passed a couple years ago, and we just kind of sharpened the teeth on it, and we kept it in-house. The Colorado bill was fantastic, first in its nation. They created a bottleneck for themselves by passing all of these complaints through the AG's office in their state, and they can only control what they can control. And so oftentimes these cases would be sitting waiting for action from an agency outside of themselves. So what we want to do is make sure that we could make sure these cases are handled quickly, efficiently, and so people can get back to business and get back to worrying about, new business and not just something destroying their business. So how this is going to work is if someone's used your name or your address or your personal information in a business filing without your permission or made a change to your business, you have been the victim of what we call business identity theft. It's kind of similar to identity theft, except for it's of your business. So starting January 1, you may file a declaration of wrongful filing for our office to review. Okay. So once it's submitted, we're going to take a look at it. We do a little bit of investigation to make sure that the facts as presented to us are accurate. And then what we do is we send out a notice, and we send it to the affected party. So it's going to go to what we call the complainant and the filer, the person who we believe filed in this business. Now, sometimes those people are not real. They might have fake names, fake addresses. They use existing addresses that they're not at. But we attempt to send a notice to both parties, and we give it 21 days. Colorado, their bill was 45, and what we heard was that a lot of people can do a lot of damage in 45 days. 21 days is also very long if you're dealing with this, but we have to make sure that all the parties, sometimes this might be a misunderstanding, and we want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to state their claim and say that, either, yes, I filed that and it's actually right. This person's harassing me, or we're business owners and I changed this because this is, how our business decided to do it, and this person's angry about it. We want to make sure that everyone has a chance to be heard. So if a response is received within those 21 days, we may request additional information from the parties to make a preliminary judgment. What we do then is it will issue a final order once we feel like we have enough information. If we deem it fraudulent, which if you listen to our friends in other states, 99.5% of the complaints are accurate and they're real fraud. So we're expecting the majority of them to be fraudulent.
Okay.
So if that happens, what we're going to do is we're going to, if it's a brand new filing that somebody created, we're going to remove it from our record. And if they altered an existing business, so if somebody changed the record on your business, we're going to redact that information, flag it, and revert your business filing back to where it was before that fraudulent filing. When we reject, the parties are also given notice about this, and we give them the opportunity to appeal it at a district court if they decide to. That's built into the law. But as I said, we're expecting the great majority of these filings, these complaints to be accurate, and we're hoping to get those off the records very quickly. And so the question some people have asked along the way is, why are you redacting some things and not removing them? When people file with our Secretary of State here, if let's say I'm starting a new business, I misspell my name or something like that. Well, the record happened, right? And so we kind of look at our business filings as historical documents, right? The filing happened. It did happen. If somebody filed on your business, the filing happened and they committed fraud. We don't want to just necessarily remove everything, because if somebody takes those records that they received when they did the fraudulent filing to a bank might look and say, I don't know, I don't see it, but this might be fine. We want to make it clear to anybody who might be looking at this that this person, this business was a victim of fraud. However, anything that could be considered incorrect names, things like that, we redact, and it'll have a notice on there that information was removed per statute 300 point something. I should know it by now. So we want to make sure that these records show that these actions happened, because they did happen. Some people might say, I don't like that on my record, but ultimately we think it's the safest choice for businesses. So there's no change for most business owners. The average business owner will not experience any new requirements. This isn't going to change anything you do on the front end. This is only something that's going to happen if you suspect that you are a victim of fraud with your business. And when this occurs, the process should be fast, and it's also going to be cost-free. We, of course, we're not going to charge for this. Hopefully, these cases can come to a close. We can close the redact filing, close a business if it was started quickly before anybody can do any real lasting damage. But it was very important for us that people had a place to go where they could take care of these things without having to disrupt their life more than it is, right? These cases at the time would really knock somebody back, and they would have, like I said, it'd be months for them to unwind this. We're hoping that within a couple weeks, people can get back to normal. So we're going to start receiving these submissions for fraud on January 1st. We're hoping that, it's the kind of a rising tide lifts all boats idea. While this isn't necessarily a tool to combat fraud on the front end, our goal is to make it that this state is very unappealing to commit fraud. Like I said, a lot of these people, they're not in Minnesota, they're overseas. So we're hoping that people look at how quickly these cases get closed, how quickly these fraudulent filings, oh, I see a question popping up. How quickly these filings get closed, and we're hoping there's just not a lot of opportunity for people. And I will come back to that question, I promise. For business owners, we want fraud to be a temporary disruption and not a threat to your livelihood. And this should allow you to get back to work quickly. More information about this can be found at sos.mn.gov/BIR or scan the QR code. The statute's 300.70 to 300.78, or you can email us as well. So I will get to our chat here and answer that question. I'm going to stop sharing though, and oh boy, there we go. Hi. Thank you, everybody. Let me get to this question here. Joel asks, I know you said the system was modeled after Colorado's law. Sorry, I jumped to the latest. There we go. Was any consideration ever given to putting a freeze on business records, like we could freeze or unfreeze our credit reports, or would that be too impractical for the state to administer? I don't know if it's a question of practicality as much as fraud. These fraud cases, typically, they're not repeated offenses for a business. And we don't necessarily want to disrupt a company's or a business person's ability to do the regular work that they might do. If just because you might have had a fraud filing that shouldn't be able to stop you from filing an amendment in case you need to change your articles. So we're hoping that the system works fast enough and that there's not a lot of need to freeze those filings. But I am available for questions, not just about this, but Neela really wanted me to present about the office in general, but I thought it would be best to just throw it out here and say, ask me anything you could possibly ask about Secretary of State. However, remember, we are business services, not elections. I always joke that, you know, if my section of the office ends up on the front page of the newspaper, something went historically wrong. So we are the boring part that don't really, we don't want a lot of news. All right. I'm going to read some questions here. I see Charity asks, how do you submit? The submissions will be by email or in-person drop-off to begin with. We're hoping after it starts that we'll have a portal where people can upload it, but it'll be email submission, or if you're close by, feel free to drop it off. Mark asks, if a business closes, what should they file? A notice of intent to dissolve or a statement of termination? Would this help the problem? So each business entity type has a different filing type that they have. What we want is for people to actually formally close their business. Some people, including me, I'm an old business owner and I have to file to close my business. I should practice what I preach. But a lot of people just let their filings lapse and go inactive. And what that means is that somebody can then file a reactivation and get that back open. So intent to dissolve, statement of termination, whatever the entity type requires, because like I said, they're different for each entity type. We encourage people to file it to protect themselves. The other side of that is once you file that, it's closed for good. It's not opening again. That's great to fight fraud. Not great if you decide you want to start the business again, but you can always file a new company. Yeah. Any other questions?
Question.
I can't, yeah, just go ahead and start shouting stuff. I'm ready.
Here's another one from Dallas.
Oh,
What are the categories on the business's listings that can be changed online electrically versus in person?
Dallas, I'm not sure what you mean by categories of a business listing. Our online system has the majority of the filings that a person can do, we allow on our website. So each entity type, there is the capability to file electronically. There's nothing that we do that you have to be in person. If it's something that we don't allow online for some reason, we still accept filings via mail. And that's how we get, you know, a huge percent of what we do is online. But we do get a significant amount of mail still. And I don't think that'll ever stop. And we have a very healthy appointment schedule that is robust and busy. So there's no real difference between online or in person or mail. It's just the way that you prefer to get it done.
It looks like Matt has a question.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, please, my renewal date will be December the 12th, December the 30th. How can I renew?
Yeah. So every business needs to renew yearly. For most entity types, it's free. The ones that typically charge are foreign entity types, which if you're in this call, you're probably not out of state. There's a couple different ways to renew, but the easiest way is to do it on our website. If you go to, and Josie will probably punch me if I get this wrong, sos.mn.gov/renew. Josie, that's a thumbs up. Yep. sos.mn.gov/renew has all of the instructions you need on how to file that renewal. The renewals are due by December 31st, but you can file that renewal anytime during the year it's due. You don't have to wait for December. You can file that. I tell people, you know, a great time to do it is tax time, when you're knee deep in your business documents already. But yeah, filing online, if you have an account with us already, it should take at most 2 minutes. Is there a grace period when renewing after the end of the year? Mark, I would like to say there is, but officially there isn't. However, we do typically have a large backlog of mail that we received for renewals that we dig out of. And so we don't run dissolutions until our backlog is filled. Now, I will say a couple years ago, sometimes that could push out into March. Our staff is very good right now, and we're usually running those dissolutions within a week or two after the new year. So if somebody does file a renewal before we run those dissolutions, we're going to allow it. We're not going to say, hey, you filed after the first, sorry, but you are dissolved. If we haven't dissolved your business, file that renewal, and we want people to do that. But there, yeah, unofficially there's not a grace period, but in practice there's usually a week or two where people have some space.
Thank you.
Yeah. It says here, it seems like it might take up a lot of SOS staff time to administer this process. Did SOS receive additional funding or other resources in anticipation of this new work? We did, kind of. So as people have probably read, that there's a budget shortfall coming in the state. And but there was a lot of encouragement in the legislature to get this passed and to get it funded. We will be adding staff. We've added some staff already, but we're anticipating as the program is rolling that we will need additional staff. And the solution that the legislature came up with was that there's a $40 add-on to any reinstatement. And that $40 goes for us to be able to administer programs like this, or to help fight fraud, help protect people. So it was important for the legislature to not add on a fee to every single person who files, just the people who forget to renew. There's a little bit of a disincentive for me to tell people to renew, because then if you forget to renew, oh boy, we can hire more staff. But I would love that everybody in the state renews on time, and I have to go hat in hand to the legislature and ask for money for staff. But that was the way that the legislature decided to help us fund this program.
Adam, there's another question. It says, Adam, please mention about solicitors charging a fee.
When we say solicitors, do we mean, oh, that's Millie. Yeah, so another part of this bill that we haven't really talked about is a deceptive mailer piece. This is a sneaky little thing we added on at the end. And what that is I'm sure if you've had a business, you've received a letter saying, hey, you filed your business, don't forget to get your certificate of good standing. And it's something that looks pretty official, but if you look really closely, it probably says we're not a government agency, right? These mailers by themselves aren't deceptive, they're not illegal. I always say anybody can lay down on their driveway and change their oil, but some people want to pay a mechanic to do it. In the same way, some people get to manage their business filings, but some people pay service companies. The part where we got the most complaints is when the mailers would come out and they would look very, very similar to an official mailing. And I won't name the company, but there's one who sent something out, and if you took their renewal form, which they charged, I think, $150 for it, and took our free renewal form and held it up to the light, they were identical, all the way down to them including an image where the state seal would be. So we consider those things deceptive. So a part of this is a law stating that some design needs for these mailers. They have to, at the very top and at minimum 24-point font, state that they are not a government agency, and no other text on the mailer can be bigger than the text that states they are not a government agency. They must also provide directions that tell you that you can do this online for free. This is already in effect. We've had a couple complaints that we received in our office, and we've sent those over to the Attorney General's office. So it is a crime to not do this. So if you see a filing or get a mailer and you think it looks suspicious, send it to us, send it to the AG's office, and they will investigate. Our Secretary Simon will always joke that we don't have badges and guns, right? So we don't investigate necessarily, but our partners over at the AG's office will. Russell asks, how many times can you do an addendum to change your business name? Infinite. It costs money. You have to pay an amendment fee, but if you want to change it every day, you can do that. That'll be fun. I'd like to see that.
Okay. I started my business last year, but
Mhm.
I'm having so much hard time getting funding, like
Mhm.
someone to fund my business. How can I do that? And who do I talk to?
For funding, well, our friends at Deed are exactly who you should be talking to. I can't say enough positive things about the Small Business Assistance Office. People come to us and they ask us questions that I can't answer. We can't give legal advice. And we love pointing people over to Small Business Assistance because they have the tools that people need. I say, you form your company with us. You come back once a year, tell us that you're still in business, file your renewal. Deed, they exist to help you grow your business. So Deed will be the people who help you. And it looks like Neela put a link right in there, but yeah, we will give you directions on how to get there. We have their How to Start a Business in Minnesota book, but we love Deed.
And Matt, what I put in the chat for everyone to know is a Tableau, a searchable matrix where you can talk about what type of funding you're looking for and some potential funding that might suit your needs. In addition to Deed funding, we have SBA funding on there and other funding partners that we've included, some other lenders that Deed works with. So it's supposed to be a kind of a one-stop shop for our businesses and entrepreneurs to be able to find the funding that they might that might be a potential fit for you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I see Rachel has a question in the chat, and I'm seeing the letters BOI still give me nightmares. What she's asking about is beneficial ownership information. That was the big push that businesses would have to file that ownership information with FinCEN, a federal agency. Right now, I would say you don't need to file. The current administration has put a pause on that. I will say that the law hasn't changed, and so the law still exists. However, nobody needs to file right now. We worked with FinCEN a bunch in the lead up to this, the Corporate Transparency Act, and it's something that we were dealing with. BB Black, who retired from our office, was here for 40 years. So this has been talked about for 20 years before it actually happened. But the way the state was tasked with this was to just inform the public that this was a need. But, we ended up really kind of having to be more than informing, really tried to get in front of it. But it is on hold right now. But boy, I would keep in touch with a good accountant or attorney or something in case that changes. But if it changes, you will also, I'm sure, get a few email blasts from us. I can't recommend enough, as long as I mention emails. We have two things. If you file with us, have an email on record for us. We don't send out physical mail to remind people to renew, but we do send out an email blast saying, hey, you need to renew. We send that typically in September or October every year. But we can't send it to you if you don't have an email on file with us. And we also have started sending out a really great, roughly quarterly business services newsletter that you can sign up for on our website. This has not just information from our office, but some of our partners like Deed, and information about like changes to BOI requirements. God, please no. You'll hear from us. Hey, Mark.
Adam, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm Mark Thine. I work with the Small Business Development Center in Rochester here. And when it comes to the registration forms that the state has, there's always that little piece on that form that says registered agent, right? So I guess my question is, if people pick a registered agent as opposed to themselves being a registered agent, would that help the fraud situation?
No, I don't know. So if people are not familiar, you have to have a registered address on file with us. What a registered address is if someone's going to sue you, first, that's where service of process would be sent to. So we need to have a registered address. And then for a lot of filings, a registered agent is optional. Some people include it, and I would say most often it's probably the owner. But some people pay a service company to do that. When I used to have a business in Red Wing, I had a law firm who helped me form the company, and they were my registered agent. And if somebody was going to sue me, I'd rather have my lawyers see it first. And so, when people are filing these fraud cases, they're going in, they're looking for anything. Sometimes they're filing new businesses, and you could see them come in batches. You could say, oh, they clearly just added a person's name and put a company type after. Or they'll change anything, change the name, change the address, change the person. I wish I knew the rhyme or reason of how sometimes they pick these businesses. Like I said, a large portion of them would be dormant businesses that have been inactive for a long time. One move we made a couple years ago to try to slow that down is if your business has been inactive for 5 years or more, we wouldn't let you do it online anymore. We made you mail it in because we figured it was a lot less likely for somebody to have a stolen check than to have a stolen credit card to pay that. But that, people just started filing sooner, filing a business that had been inactive for less than 5 years. And that really was the push for help getting this bill through.
Just to follow up to that, Adam, it's as a startup and an existing business owner, you've got a lot going on running your business. And sometimes you can't always keep track of that incoming mail that's coming from the state. That's really important stuff. So I would, just advise people on the call to consider having a registered agent other than themselves.
It's great. We table at events. We're trying to do it a lot more. We have this really great magnet that we made that we're giving away that says renew your business. On filings now, we include it's almost a save the date, like a wedding, that points out when your first renewal is. We're really happy with how easy it is to file a renewal, and it's cheap, it's free, right? Some people think that it's cost prohibitive to open a business in Minnesota. A lot of states charge for each renewal. If your business has been inactive for 5 years, we're one of the cheapest states in the country in terms of how much money you put into these filings. So the initial filing is a smidge higher, but free renewals. If you're not changing anything, you're just filing these renewals, you never have to give us another cent for your business. But yeah, we really do try to. We're making a bigger effort to, thanks to our communications outreach person Josie Bellrichard and Millie Cardinal, our business analyst, really making a push to really drive the education part. And it's something that our office had never really, oftentimes we were just a filing cabinet, right? People would file and we'd hold it. But now in the current climate, we have to take much more effort to remind people and make sure that people are aware of what they're doing. Some people, when they file a business, don't know what they've actually done, right? They don't know that they've created an entity and what that means. So getting this information in front of people in plain language, easy to understand, is something that we're really trying to do. All right, Mike, I'm so glad that we were here for your call so you can see your business is inactive. So you can go to sos.mn.gov/renew and information will be in there, and you're going to end up filing a reinstatement, which is almost exactly the same as a renewal, except for you're going to pay a little fee. And I always joke that most people, when they file that, pay that fee one time because they probably won't forget again. Oh, I can't hear Mike, but
So no fees, right? I'm just gonna go in there and renew, right? No fees at all.
If you're just filing a renewal, it's completely free.
Yeah,
Completely free. There's, like I said, there's a couple exceptions like partnerships and stuff, but the great majority of people file either LLCs or corporations, and it's
Okay.
free for them.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, it's reinstate. See, I got the short link from.
And that link's now in the chat.
Mhm.
Any other questions? And please raise your hand or write it in the chat. Thank you so far to, Mark and Matt and others for your important questions. Mike, I'm glad that you had real-time solutions on this call. And now we have another one from Christine.
So
Another
Christine asks,
SBDC
do you recommend
consultant.
individuals utilize an attorney to complete the initial filing, or is it okay to file for themselves? You are very capable of filing for yourself. Most people, I think, do. I can't give you legal advice, right? I think that what I usually tell people is really, before you file with us, make sure you are set. You know exactly what you want to do, the entity type you want, make sure everything's set up front, so that way when you file with us, you don't end up realizing, oh, I wish I had filed an LLC instead of a corporation, then have to file a conversion, for example. Oftentimes these places, lawyers are really great because they will help you answer those questions, but so does small business assistance through Deed. So I will say, I think most people in the state file for themselves, but it's just up to your own comfort level of how much you want to make sure that you're covered. Oh, and thank you, Charity. I appreciate that. It's I just talk, and it's the people in the chat who do all the work. So thank them, not me.
This has been very informative, Adam.
Yeah. Oh,
I-
Rachel asks, do we
everyone-
have stats on the number of new businesses filed in Minnesota from 24 to 25? Any distinction of how many are women or minority owned? And if not, where can I get this data? It's almost like you work for us and you're setting me up for pointing something out. So I don't have the numbers in front of me. I could get it, but I don't think people want to watch me mess with a Power BI table. But we do have something that we launched this year that we're also very proud about. So if you go on the front page of our website, there's a button right in the middle next to a picture of some farm equipment that says Minnesota Business Snapshot. If you filed with us, you're probably familiar with this optional 5-question survey that asks questions about demographic information and such. We took that information, which we've been collecting for a long time, and in Minnesota, boy, what a fun state. We get, I think we're up to 68% of the people who file with us complete this optional survey. From talking to other states through some of our national partners, people are envious of how much we get this people to complete this. But we took that information and threw it online, and so you can sort it through a Power BI tool, and kind of sort things down yourself and take a look. I don't know necessarily new businesses filed compared to last year. I will say typically year over year, the volume of filings that we get increase. Oh, Millie reminded me that we do have that online. There it is. So she put the link in there for that information right on our website. But typically year over year, we get more filings and more businesses are filed each year. I would say during COVID, there was an explosion of new businesses. And then the year after, there was a little bit of a dip. But even that dip year was higher than any year previously. So every year, more people are opening businesses. And all that information is on our site.
Great. And hey, we have some positive, another real time. She just renewed and it was very easy for her.
Yay.
So yes, great. And these links are great. All right. Is there any other questions? Otherwise, we do have some updates, or if there's other questions for Adam. If not, we'll move to another part of the agenda.
And then Mike, is there a form you need to sign in? Yep, there'll be a renewal form. You can download that on our website, but all that information should be on that reinstate link that was put there. And if you can't find it, give us a call. Our phone number is on the website, and our staff would be more than happy to walk you through that.
Oh, Chelsea, looks like you have a
Yes, hi, thank you. I actually have 2 questions. The first
Yeah.
one is about business insurance. I am a new business trying to get started, and I've contacted any normal, like you would have car insurance, renter's insurance, and it's really hard to find any insurance company. For me, I'm having a hard time. Where can I find a company that would provide insurance for my LLC?
I will say that's a great question that I don't have the answer for, but that would be a really great question for Deed. And again, small business assistance is a wonderful tool, a wonderful office that can help you with questions like that.
And also our Small Business Development Centers, SBDC. And I think, Mark, are you raising your hand to answer that question? Or no? Yeah,
Yeah,
Mark,
yeah.
please help her on that
Yeah,
question.
Chelsea, I've come across companies that I don't know what you do and you don't have to tell me, but this might help. I've come across companies where they simply can't get insurance because the insurance companies don't have any stats associated with it, right? So they can't even send you a premium. When that's happened, I tell people to reach out if there is one to the association. So sometimes if you become a member of the association that is connected with your industry, you buy a membership, and along with that membership can come insurance. So check that out.
Okay, great. Thank you. I do have another question. It is separate from that insurance question. It is about Minnesota Deed VRS Services, Vocational Rehabilitation Services. I'm aware that they have small business startup and development assistance there. And I'm wondering, like, how would a person access that? I have gone through the process and I'm having some roadblocks. And so I'm wondering if there is that currently still available, and is it just for certain categories? Because I do qualify through VRS services,
Yeah.
but I'm running into a lot of roadblocks. So I'm wondering what can I do to
Yeah.
get through to those resources?
Chelsea, thanks for your question. I put our email in the chat, smallbusiness@state.mn.us, and we can take that offline and provide the details that you need to make the right connections for you. Okay?
Thank you.
We have a team
Yes,
that's
thank you.
waiting to answer those questions. I do want to thank Adam and Josie and the others at the Office of Secretary of State. As you can tell by Adam, he has a lot of passion for what he does. He's committed to the work that he does, and it's just really been a pleasure working with him over the years, and Josie too, for your partnership and collaboration. So thank you. Really very informative discussion today, and we all appreciate you joining us and sharing your wisdom. I'm now going to change it to some updates from some of our partners. I will quickly share about we have the opportunity right now. We're in the season of small business and working with our SBDC partners. Andy Donahue, our state director, is on this call. We have been doing site visits all across the state. We were with Mark Thine last week in Rochester. We are in Brooklyn Park tomorrow at a roundtable, and we're in Crosby next week. It's just a really important time to highlight the incredible work that our small businesses and entrepreneurs do to help support their local communities and our state economy. And here's just a few ways that everyone listening can help elevate the role that they play in the state and to be continue to be supportive. We know what you're doing, and many people on this call, we work every single day to try to help our businesses start, scale, and succeed. I will now pass it to SBA. Don has some announcements that he would like to share with everybody.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that, Neela. One of the big things that's coming up here is we are taking nominations for our National Small Business Week, which we'll be celebrating in May of 2026. This is a great way for small business owners to be recognized by the SBA in a number of categories. Small business owners can self-nominate, so there is a process that you can to do that. An interesting fact is back in, I believe it was 2023, One of the small businesses that self-nominated here in Minnesota won the national award for Small Business Person of the Year. So it's a great way to be recognized as a small business owner. Additionally, our resource partners are there to help you do that nomination package up. Or if you have other small business owners that you would like to recommend, you can do that also. Thank you, Neela.
Absolutely.
Oh, and I will share the information in the chat feature.
Perfect. We appreciate our partnership with SBA. All right. Well, thank you for your time today. Next month, we are going to have a business roundtable, and that will happen on the second Tuesday of January in the new year, second Tuesday at 2 o'clock. We thank you for joining, and we wish you a happy holiday season.